It's time for your daily market dose, Corporate Central, where we get you the everyday pulse of the corporate world and also taking note of all the market fluctuations. But first, let's find out what took place in the corporate world today. Global investment management firm Bernstein has pegged the enterprise valuation of Reliance Industries' 85% stake in Reliance Retail at $111 billion, while valuing the Mukesh Ambani-led company's 66.5% stake in telecom and digital platform arm Reliance Jio at $88 billion. Reliance Industries had earlier planned to list both its subsidiaries to unlock value for its shareholders, but did not fix any timeline for this. In further news, Reliance Consumer Products, the fast-moving consumer goods business and a wholly owned subsidiary of Reliance Retail Ventures, on Thursday said that it has completed the acquisition of 51% controlling stake in Lotus Chocolate Company for 74 crore rupees and subscribed to non-cumulative redeemable preference shares of Lotus for an aggregate consideration of 25 crore rupees. RCPL took sole control of the company with effect from May 24th onwards. Anil Agarwal's Vedanta Limited has pledged almost all of its stake in Hindustan Zinc, and according to a filing, the company pledged 3.3% of its total equity or 139.4 million shares. According to BSE data, the total encumbered equity share capital stands at 64.51% from 64.92% earlier. The shares were pledged on May 23rd, and this was the third instance during this financial year when the multinational mining company pledged its shares in Hindustan Zinc. Vedanta and Hindustan Zinc have reported a drop in their January to March quarter net profit. While Vedanta shares were trading higher, Hindustan Zinc shares were trading lower on the NSE. Earlier, on May 23rd, Vedanta announced its first interim dividend of 18.50 rupees for financial year 2023-24. The dividend will be 1,850% of the face value of 1 rupee per share and amounts to a total of 6,877 crore rupees. Aviation regulator DGCA on Thursday granted 30 days to cash-strapped airline Go First in order to submit a comprehensive plan for the revival of its operations. The airline had clarified on Tuesday that they have no definite timeline for the resumption of operations. Go First has been asked to furnish the status of the availability of the operational aircraft fleet, pilots and other personnel, maintenance arrangements, funding and working capital, and arrangements with lessors and vendors, among other details. The revival plan, once submitted by Go First, would be reviewed by the watchdog for further appropriation action. Max India's board has approved an investment of 294 crore rupees in two of its subsidiary companies, out of which 177 crores will be invested in an associate company named Antara Senior Living, and whereas 117 crore rupees will be made in Antara Assisted Care Services. This investment will be made to meet the funding needs of these two subsidiaries and the requirements related to capacity expansion. Company's profit in Q4 FY23 year-on-year has increased by about 35% from 3.1 crore rupees to 4.2 crore rupees, while the company's income has increased by 12.6% year-on-year to 56.4 crore rupees. Wipro Executive Chairman Rishad Premji's compensation almost halved in the financial year 2022-23 from the previous year due to negative performance in its IT services business. Chief Executive Thierry Delaporte's compensation also fell, but by a smaller margin of 5%. According to the company's annual report to the US Securities and Exchange Commission, Premji's total compensation for FY23 was around $951,000, down from $1.8 million in FY22. But this is not the first time that Premji has had to cut his compensation. In FY20, his compensation was cut by almost 31% after the onset of COVID-19 hitting Wipro's operations. Delaporte, who is also the company's managing director, received $10 million compared with $10.5 million in FY22. Delaporte was the highest paid CEO in the Indian IT sector in FY22. Meanwhile, Wipro reported a net profit of 3,074 crore rupees for FY23, down 0.4% year-on-year, with the company's senior management also taking cuts. Ola Electric, India's largest electric two-wheeler company, is reportedly planning to raise between $800 million and $1 billion through its initial public offering, primarily to fund its capital expenditure. The company is looking at a valuation of $10 billion or 82,000 crore rupees. The IPO is slated to hit the bourses in the last quarter of the current fiscal year. It would make Ola Electric the first Indian electric vehicle company to be listed. The Bengaluru headquartered company has roped in Goldman Sachs, ICICI Securities, Axis Capital and Kotak Securities as the lead managers for its initial public offering. The government has identified 21 countries' investments from which will be exempted from the angel tax. The government has notified the list of specified jurisdictions featuring 21 nations, including the US, the UK, Australia and Germany, which will be eligible for immunity from the new tax. In a surprise move, the tax department has excluded Singapore, Mauritius, Netherlands and Luxembourg, which are the biggest contributors to the foreign direct investments in India. This means that any investments from these are excluded countries above the fair market value will attract angel tax. According to the new announcement of the government, such Indian startups which are not listed in the stock market will not be charged angel tax on non-resident investment. Let us tell you that the government had made a provision to tax this investment in this year's budget. Angel tax was introduced in 2012 with the aim of preventing money laundering, and if a startup raises money from angel investors and this funding is more than the fair value of the shares, then it can be taxed. Well, that was all about corporates. Now let's take a look at those market stocks that were in spotlight today and also analyze the reason behind it. First up, shares of Vodafone Idea, the country's third largest telecom company, saw a jump of up to 3% on Friday, May 26, and during the day, the stock touched a high of 7.2 rupees. After Vodafone Idea announced its fourth quarter results, and the results have beaten the market estimates, although the company is still in loss, but the loss has been less than expected. In quarter 4, the company's loss decreased by 19.7% to 6,419 crore rupees from 7,990 crore rupees as against the estimate of 7,500 crore rupees. Income decreased by 0.8% to 10,532 crore rupees from 10,621 crore rupees as against the estimate of 10,590 crore rupees. Working profit was up by 0.8% to 4,211 crore rupees from 4,181 crore rupees against the market expectation of 4,135 crore rupees. Operating margin was up from 39.4% to 40% as against market's expectation of a decline, and it was expected to come down to 39%. Also, ARPU, that is the average revenue per user, has been flat at 135 rupees while the estimate was around 136 rupees. The main reason behind the decrease in loss is a reduction in interest cost. Quarter-on-quarter interest expense has come down from 6,322.7 crore rupees to 5,001.6 crore rupees. Zee Entertainment's stock jumped up to 8% on Friday as the NCLAT stayed the NCLT's May 11th decision. NCLT has asked BSE and NSE to reassess the initial approvals given for a Zee-Sony merger. On May 11th, NCLT had also issued a directive to the exchanges to re-evaluate and validate the non-compete clause related to this merger, which was challenged by Zee Entertainment in NCLAT. Zee also reported its results for the fourth quarter, and the company's income increased by 0.2% to 2,112 crore rupees from 2,109 crore rupees. Operating profit decreased by 58% to 152 crore rupees from 366 crore rupees, and operating margin decreased from 17.4% to 7.2%, and profit from 72.9 crore rupees as against 57 crore rupees. The stock gained because on April 25th, SEBI issued an order cum show cause notice against another company linked to SL Group, that is Shirpur Gold Refinery, and former chairman Amit Goenka, promoter Jainir Infra Power and Multi Ventures, and 5 other entities, which led to this instruction issued by the NCLT. Shares of Page Industries, a company that sells innerwear under the Jockey brand, touched a 52-week low of 34,952.65 rupees on Friday. The company's fourth quarter results have been very disappointing. The company's income in quarter 4 is down by 12.8% from 1,111 crore rupees to 969 crore rupees, Working profit is down by 49% from 267 crore rupees to 135 crore rupees. Working margins came down from 24% to 14%. That is a big drop of 10%. And there is also a big drop in profits by 59%. Profit has come down from 191 crore rupees to 78 crore rupees. MedPlus Health shares hit an upper circuit of 20% on Friday after the release of its fourth quarter results. The stock touched a high of 827.70 rupees during the day, and the reason is more than 2 times increase in year-on-year profits. Company's profit in quarter 4 has increased by 127% from 11.7 crore rupees to 26.6 crore rupees in quarter 4, and during this period, the company's income has increased by 30% to 1,253 crore rupees as against the estimate of 1,242 crore rupees. Operating profit up 56% to 81.6 crore rupees as against the estimate of 72.4 crore rupees, and operating margin improved by 1%. Margins improved to 6.4% from 5.4% against market expectations of 5.8%. In fact, the sales of the company's most important retail segment have been very strong, and the company has received tax refund of 18.8 crore rupees during the quarter. That's all tonight on Corporate Central, but before we go, leaving you with some important corporate events and triggers which will have the potential to make big market impacts over the weekend. On May 26th, globally, US consumer expectations data to make impacts, and also impact of US personal consumption expenditure figures to be out, and results of JK Cement, Aurobindo Pharma, BKT, PFC and GMR airports to be out on May 27th. Board meeting on Sarda Energy results on May 27th, and also share split will be considered along with the results. Niti Aayog's 8th Governing Council meeting to be held on May 27th, wherein PM Modi will preside over the meeting. And on May 28th, Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate a new Parliament House, and also Finance Ministry will issue the 75 rupee coin. On May 29th, results of IPCA Labs and IRCTC to be out, and also watch out for Phase 3's board considering buyback on May 29th. Globally, on May 29th, US and UK markets will remain closed. Well, with that, it's a showdown on this last of this week's Corporate Central. See you again on Monday. Until then, catch all the weekend updates on Money9's website in an all-new avatar. Log in to www.money9.com to get a detailed insight for the personal finance world. Good night and have a great weekend.